Today we will discuss how Canada has become a top destination for tech talent from around the world. Also, we have a guest from California who has expanded his business from the United States to Canada. So stay tuned, let's get started.
Just a quick reminder before we start. Please note that whatever you hear in these live sessions or any content you see on social media by Sabi-Rob's law firm is general information only and not legal advice. While we may use certain real-life scenarios or legal cases for learning purposes, it is important to remember that this does not constitute a legal opinion. For personalized legal advice, please consult with your lawyer or hire a Canadian immigration lawyer. Now, let's get back to our show.
The first news we have is from Ontario. Ontario is supporting more innovation in cybersecurity. So if you have a business in cybersecurity space or considering going into this area, consider Ontario as your serious destination in Canada. So as you can see, the Ontario government is investing up to $5 million into this area, and Toronto has become and will continue being relevant destination for cybersecurity, innovation, and businesses. The second piece we have is from Statistics Canada. It has released Canadian survey on business conditions for the third quarter of 2023, and I strongly suggest that you read this analytical article and observe and analyze this infographics. So a few points here: 56.6% expect rising inflation to be an obstacle. These are the businesses that have been surveyed. And almost 53% expect profitability to remain relatively unchanged, which is a good news in my opinion. So these are the statistics from Statistics Canada, and if you're considering doing business in Canada, you may want to know the business conditions currently as of the third quarter of 2023. The links are below and you can go and read for yourselves and share your thoughts, feedback, and comments. We will be happy to learn about them from you.
Are you constantly on the move, managing your business, and looking for a convenient way to stay informed about expanding your business to Canada? Look no further. Introducing Speaking of Canada, the podcast that keeps you in the loop on all things related to Canadian business immigration, delivering the latest news and valuable tips and captivating interviews, no matter how busy your schedule gets. Speaking of Canada has got you covered.
Welcome back. So as we discussed, we will be talking about how Canada has become a top destination for tech talent from around the world. I have a few slides today, and after that we will go into our interview with James Chang from California, who has expanded his business to Canada. Let's get a glance of what the landscape of tech in Canada. This is a bit older report, but it gives you an understanding how things are in Canada. There are almost 42,000 businesses related to tech, according to 2021 report. Those businesses have fewer than 10 employees. So these are small and medium businesses, you can say. And they're making, in revenues, they're making almost $96 billion according to 2020 estimate. And since 2020, I think the number is just going up. And the annual growth of 9.4% is very substantial, and it's for the developed economy like Canada. And of course, in research and development spending, according to 2020 report, it is almost $5.1 billion in R&D spent in private sector in Canada. So you can see that it's a very dynamic space, very dynamic industry. Tech is everywhere. Even law firms have become tech companies providing legal services. At the end, I want to highlight that there are almost 2 million workers in the digital economy, of whom 24% are directly employed in the tech sector. So, and the big names in the tech industry, such as Facebook, Google, Apple, Meta, formerly known as Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, everybody is present in Canada, and list goes on and on. So you can see the statistics about this industry. Almost 90% are in computer systems design and related services, and the rest is in other sectors of the tech industry. This has been ongoing rise, and many publications, including the New York Times, has described Toronto specifically to be a hotspot for tech. And you can Google many articles about it for yourself and read it. So now, why it has become a top destination for tech and tech talent is the visa programs and immigration programs of this country. For example, you can bring your talents through Canada's free trade agreements. There are 51 countries with which Canada has free trade agreements, and you can benefit from them as a tech company or a tech talent who wants to move to Canada. Global Talent Stream is a great program for bringing tech talent and tech companies to Canada. It has unlimited opportunities for the right people, and you can use it for your own benefit, not only to get the talent from around the world and bring them to Canada, but also maintain and retain the talent within your Canadian operations. Another way to bring your company and talent is intra-company transfer work permit. You first bring on a work permit, and then you may support the tech workers' immigration to Canada and allow them to become permanent residents and help them to become permanent residents. Reciprocal employment is another way for those who have difficulty in finding the use of any other immigration programs. Reciprocal employment, C20 work permit, is also there. So you have a menu of immigration programs, and when you talk to professionals like Sobirov's law firm, we select the right menu item for you to implement. LMIA-based work permits are classic. As I said, tech is not only IT or software, tech is everywhere right now, and you may also consider LMIA-based work permits for certain occupations if you want to bring them to Canada. Startup Visa Program, one of the bestseller programs around the world, now revamped a little bit. We will touch upon that in the next slide. Startup Visa Program is for those who are bringing innovative, scalable, and investable ideas to Canada. Provincial programs for tech talent are also abundant, and provinces are not sitting still. They are trying to bring more talent to their own respective provinces. For example, Alberta Advantage Immigration Program is designed to bring the talent and keep them in Alberta. And British Columbia PNP Tech Program, the similar logic, and Vancouver is one of the traditional hotspots for tech talent. Ontario Express Entry Human Capital Priorities Stream, that's as I mentioned in the beginning of our show today, Ontario is a big spot in tech space, including cybersecurity, AI, and machine learning, and other areas of tech. Saskatchewan is also trying to get its own share of tech talent and attracting it through Tech Talent Pathway Program. Quebec, a permanent immigration pilot program for workers in the AI, IT, and visual effects sector, is another great program if you consider moving to Quebec. As you can see, the provinces are also actively participating in immigration of tech talent, and you should consider them seriously if you want to come to Canada and do your business in this space. Another great program, I will single out Startup Visa and beyond, because Startup Visa is one of the most relevant to tech immigration. The Startup Visa program has been recharged recently, has been revamped with an option of 3-year work permit for the founders of startup. It's an open work permit, so when you come to run your startup, you may work for another entity while your startup is not yet generating any income. So potentially this option, this change in the Startup Visa program will bring, according to my estimate, almost 20,000 new tech talent members of tech space to Canada in the near future. According to the report that we announced recently, the report is prepared by Technology Councils of North America and Canada's Tech Network. Almost 33,000 new workers came to Canada, mostly from India and Nigeria. So you have a talent pool. It's a great chance to be in where talent is gathering, and congregating. So talent is coming to Canada. In addition to that, recently a new initiative by Canadian government, which was very popular in the news, 10,000 H-1B visa holders were attracted from the US recently, and this cap has been reached. But 10,000 people with great talent and experience, probably great experience in the Silicon Valley, are considering moving to Canada. Digital nomad has been another topic that we were talking when we talk about tech immigration in Canada. Digital nomad strategy has been officially announced, and digital nomads have been officially invited to spend time and work in Canada or from Canada to entities outside of Canada. So it is very interesting, and we welcome all digital nomads to come and consider Canada. It's a great location to work from. And finally, I can highlight STEM and occupation-specific draws have been started in the Express Entry program. Lately, the draws that we do every 2 weeks are focused on certain occupations and focused overall on STEM occupations. We want to bring them faster to Canada. So you can see everything is going towards attracting talent and bringing them to this country. So as a business in the tech space, what can you do? What should you do? In the hiring tech talent and acquisition and retaining the tech talent, look at the graduates of such tech talent centers as the University of Toronto, University of Waterloo, the UBC, University of British Columbia, Sheridan College is great in certain areas of tech, and many other excellent educational institutions across Canada. You can also tap into the tech talent who already immigrated to Canada, came through the SUV, the Startup Visa program, H-1B visa holders, as I mentioned, 10,000 of them hopefully coming to Canada, and their respective spouses. When people look at the applicants, they should also look at their family members. Most probably the spouse of an H-1B visa holder is also related to tech, most probably, but you can guess that you can tap into those spouses because they will have open work permit too. In parallel with their main applicant spouse, the other spouse also has work permit, and you are welcome to hire them when they are in Canada. Also, you can find needed talent globally and bring them to Canada through the programs that I mentioned already, through tech immigration programs. Nearshoring is becoming a very actual and very dynamic topic these days. Nearshoring means that you are not sending your contracts and work to offshore companies, but rather keeping them in Canada or let's say Mexico and serving the US market from those locations, from those time zones. If you want to nearshore your talent, consider Canada. You can serve US markets, main continental US market, in different time zones while your talent is located and hosted in Canada. If you want us to make a separate video and separate show about nearshoring, let us know. Leave a comment, please. If you have tech talent needs and you want to bring them to Canada, talk to the experts. We offer all-inclusive business immigration services. Go to sobirovs.com website, read our guides, and make sure you book your 1-hour strategy meeting with our immigration lawyers and specialists. You can also consider attending conferences related to tech. For example, Collision Conference. Come to Collision, intermingle with tech talent, and find your niche area. It's a great event to be and collide with the world's tech powerhouse. Traditionally, there are a few cities that were known for their tech talent environment. For example, Toronto, Kitchener-Waterloo, Montreal, Vancouver are classic in terms of tech talent and tech space. However, they are not the only ones. Not all tech roads lead to Toronto. Here's why. Vancouver's technology growth, particularly in areas like gaming and biotech, has been very phenomenal. I've talked to many American companies who want to specifically move to Vancouver to tap into that talent. Montreal's AI and research-driven tech community is booming too. So if you want to do something in that sector, AI, visual effects, and so on, consider Montreal. It's a great hub for tech. Other emerging cities such as Ottawa, Calgary, Brampton, very, very small city, but very dynamic city next to Toronto, Canada next to Ottawa, Edmonton and Halifax are coming up as centers for tech excellence at the same time. So consider these places and cities, and your knowledge-based workers will be working mostly in a hybrid environment. It doesn't really matter where you locate them, as long as they're happy with that location and they can bring their families. That's another consideration that you have to keep in mind. Almost all provinces can offer great perks for your tech talent and your workforce. Strategize with us or with somebody else. Strategize and locate your talent in the right area. Based on our experience, Ontario and British Columbia have become the favorite spot for example, American tech companies. And we will be talking about one example today after this presentation. Are you a tech company? Then consider Canada and Sobirovs very seriously. We've been doing tech immigration for more than 10 years, and we offer all-inclusive immigration services. We include business plan, we include market research, we do everything hassle-free so that you concentrate on your business. We take care of your immigration matters. Sobirovs.com is the website you need to go, and let's talk in the near future on how we can bring your tech company and tech talent to Canada. Now, related to the topic of tech immigration, my guest today is James Chang, and he's joining me from Los Angeles, California. James is a co-founder of Frenzy.ai, a platform that helps e-commerce owners to boost their profit. Welcome, James.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Let's start with knowing you more and your company better.
Sure, I'm James Chang. I'm one of the co-founders of Frenzy.ai. We provide enterprise-grade artificial intelligence solutions for e-commerce companies. Specifically, I would say in the small to mid-sized e-commerce shops, basically giving them the capability of providing recommendations, search results that are Amazon-like quality, in the sense that Amazon has the best data science teams in the world. We sort of package that world-class data science into a easy-to-install plugin for e-commerce shops with the ultimate goal of driving more sales and conversion.
So, James, in a nutshell, what does happen when a company starts using your platform, Frenzy.ai, the plugin, as opposed to what was before the installation or before the usage?
Aside from a lot of the benefits that you get with AI through automation, and normally these sort of data science solutions require a lot of manual work and configuration to have working at an optimal level where you're generating more sales, basically. We provide a lot of that functionality out of the box. The system is able to deliver optimized results from day one. Customers using our solution on average are seeing anywhere from a 2 to a 4x conversion rate increase and about a 30% increase in overall revenue.
What's the size of the company and how many people work for you?
Yeah, so we are a relatively newer company. We started about 3 years ago, and we have today about 7 employees full-time.
And your target market, is it safe to say it's North America or it's global?
I would say it's pretty global. A lot of our customer base is in North America, but we do have some clients that are in Europe as well.
What was the story between you being established in the US but then expanding to Canada? Can you tell us more about that?
We do have a significant client base in that region of North America, Canada, and obviously it's a very I would say, innovative ground for e-commerce in the sense that obviously Shopify is headquartered there. We have spent a lot of time making our solution super compatible with Shopify because it's such an attractive market. Obviously, they have a lot of market share and more stores are switching over to Shopify because of the ease of use and ability to quickly set up a shop without having to have a whole development team behind you. So following on that trend, we thought it was a natural fit to allow companies to install AI personalized recommendations powered by artificial intelligence, as easy as it was for them to set up the store on Shopify. They can now install that plugin. So we've invested a lot in our software, making that compatible with Shopify. And we do have a number of Shopify clients like Haven. They're a big menswear brand and also sell a lot of different high-end menswear, fashion, apparel, accessory products. So mission to obviously expand our client base in Canada and also be close to where the action is, given that Shopify has developed such a great ecosystem.
Great. So what has been the steps you took in terms of expansion to Canada, and what was your experience overall?
Yeah, so the steps taken to establish in Canada, we're working with Cybersecurity to basically get our company incorporated in Canada, really take care of all of the basics when it comes to, establishing the foundation, all the paperwork and whatnot that you need to effectively do business in Canada. And then, of course, getting one of our key members, actually, my co-founder, into Vancouver. Also, for the purpose of getting him on a fast track to permanent residency, being that he is, originally from India. So there were obviously some great benefits to relocating to Canada in that aspect. But yeah, also to have our CTO, our head technical person, be close to the action and be close to, all that's happening in Canada in terms of advancements in e-commerce.
I see. In your space, does Canada come about as a place to expand, or is it a preferred jurisdictions because of immigration flexibilities? If you can tell us more about your basically network and American companies thinking about north of the border, thinking about Canada.
A big incentive for companies, young companies like myself and people who are also not, native citizens of America or Canada, to consider Canada as an immigration option, because it is a way more flexible system so far in our experience. The application process is way more straightforward. In the US, you deal with a lottery system for the visas, and the permanent residency can take many, many years, to get all of that through. Whereas in Canada, it's a much more straightforward process. It seems they're really fostering innovation there and want talented folks like my co-founder, who's obviously has a background in data science, artificial intelligence, has worked at companies like IBM and Samsung prior to working, starting this venture with me. So yeah, there are a lot of incentives to go through the immigration process that Canada has to offer over the United States.
For those US-based or international entrepreneurs and business owners who are thinking of expanding to Canada, what would be your top advice, top tips in terms of expansion, immigration, and other preparation work?
So I definitely recommend, securing a good legal firm to help you navigate these processes, whatever you're considering. And then I would really also look at the overall investment, make sure you're really clear on the financial obligations you're going to have. Consider the risks and the timelines. There are no guarantees. You can do everything right and have all the correct credentials and still not get a shot at even getting a visa.
Is there anything else that you want to share with us, with our audience today?
We are so honored to have worked with Cybersecurity and will continue to work with Cybersecurity on all things related to Canada and immigration.
That's the plan. Thank you, James. All the best and enjoy the weather.
All right.
Thank you for your time. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
To stay updated on all things related to Canadian business immigration, check us out on social media. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter for the latest news and updates. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the notification bell to stay informed about the most recent immigration news, interviews with top immigration specialists, and our weekly live shows. Visit our website at www.sabirovs.com for more information or to book a consultation with our team of experts.
Today, we're going to bring the most frequently asked questions about tech immigration. This topic is so wide that there are hundreds of questions, but I will focus on the most frequently asked questions. But if you have further questions, please send us as a comment underneath this video and we will get back to you. Frequently asked question number one is about the H-1B visa work permits that were announced recently in June. Many people ask, was it a one-time phenomenon? Will it be done again in the future? So my short answer, we don't know. Maybe Canadian government did it as a one-time deal. 10,000 H-1B visa holders come over to Canada. Here you go, open work permit. However, this could be a good tradition in order to bring the talent from the United States to Canada, because there are hundreds of thousands of tech talent candidates who are working in big tech in the US and who may come to Canada and may be interested in coming to Canada. There are a lot of controversies. I'm not going to delve into those, but this was a great experiment by Canada, and I hope it will continue to be a more permanent initiative by the Canadian government. 10,000 application cap was reached within 48 hours, which was haphazard, not well organized, but I hope Canadian government will take into account the feedback from the stakeholders about this initiative, and I hope that they will make it a permanent program. The next question was many people are considering nearshoring tech talent because it's very difficult to serve your North American clients while your tech talent is located in Asia or somewhere else. So many people are considering bringing talent closer to the service market, like United States, let's say, and locating them in Canada or let's say in Mexico for that matter. Many of our clients are asking, do we have to open an office in Canada to place our tech in that country? I would say it depends. If you have a one-off tech talent or a small team moving from one location to Canada, I don't think you have to open a dedicated office for that. You can use employers for record. There are several companies that offer this kind of service. There's an employer of record service, and they hire your talent but allow the talent to work for you exclusively. So there are ways to do that. But if you have a considerable amount of people that you want to move to Canada, then taking into account all tax implications and whatnot, you may open an office in Canada and move your talent permanently to this country. It depends. So it's there are many variables, there are many moving parts. Talk to an expert, talk to us, and we will also introduce you to tax experts who will analyze this scenario. The third question that came up because of the recent announcement is the new innovation stream. A question that I received recently is, do you know what this stream would look like? I said, not necessarily. I don't know. All I know it will be an LMIA exempt category. So which means those who want to bring talent through innovation stream, or they want to bring themselves through this new innovation stream, they don't need to obtain LMIA, Labor Market Impact Assessment, from ESDC, a governmental body that looks after the LMIAs. So it will be an easier way. In a nutshell, it will be an easier way to come to Canada. But more importantly, many people say that, will this LMIA exempt program effectively kill the SUV program or the open work permit element of the SUV program? Again, a speculation. I don't know. It's an innovation stream, and startup visa program is also geared towards bringing innovation to Canada, innovative ideas and startups. Let's see, by the end of this year, Canadian government promised that they will announce this new innovation stream, and I hope it will be a complementary to the existing programs and not replace the existing programs. We will see. We will keep you updated on that. And finally, many questions are coming to us about digital nomad visa. People say, is there such a visa in Canada? My answer is no, there's no digital nomad visa. It's just a temporary resident visa, which we call it tourist visa, a visitor visa, which allows you to come to Canada, work from Canada for someone who is not a Canadian employer, right? For someone who is not in Canada. So the definition of work is very important here. If you are in Canada on a tourist visa, but you work remotely to somebody else, not Canadian employer, then you're not considered working in Canada under Canadian law. So you can be digital nomad just by using your tourist visa, or if you are from a country that doesn't need tourist visa, then you can come on a visitor status, on an ETA, Electronic Travel Authorization, and stay in Canada for up to 6 months. We hope that you will find a job with a Canadian employer and stay in Canada on a longer term. Again, if you have more questions, we would love to hear from you. Please leave your comments. We will get back to those questions as soon as we can. Quick reminder, 84% of our viewers are not subscribed to our channel. I ask you to subscribe and share this content with others and in your network. I also want to thank our guest, James Chang, for his time. Thank you for joining us today. See you next week. Stay safe.